Wildwood Radio.
Oh, welcome in. What another gorgeous day, and I think a string of them. Fantastic, sun shining, birds chirping, all is right in the world. Big news on Steelcase this morning, like the latest on that and the sale of the company. You'll hear more about what's been happening over the weekend, some numbers talking. Well, look, if you not a numbers person, I want to try and put all of it in perspective. We had jobs report over the weekend, then we had some other, I think, even bigger numbers that are probably important to pay attention to. We want to get on all of that and more coming up. Hang on, here we go.
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now, today's Big Three.
Yeah, the stories that matter most. You've been talking about these around a water cooler, the dinner table, no matter where you are. It's all powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage, Dave Galloway and the team. Speaking of numbers, they crunched them, saved us thousands every time. And we've done multiple. We bought homes, we refinanced, we home equity line of credit. And Dave and the team was there for us throughout the entire way. They're faster, they're better than the big banks, and they're here for you at hhmlending.com. So give them a shout today. The stories that matter most. Yeah, you've probably been hearing the back and forth on this. The numbers. Jobs report came out over the weekend, but Friday, and numbers weren't great. That's what we're hearing, at least, from the mainstream, folks. A big swing downward. Just 73,000 jobs added in July. Prior months slashed back to 258,000. That led President Trump to fire the Labor Department's statistics chief, accusing her of manipulating data. By the way, this is not the first time. People are saying, oh my goodness, how dare you? You want to politicize this whole... You don't think that these deep state people, and I think this is the point that Trump's probably been trying to make throughout this whole conversation, you don't think this Biden holdover was cooking the books for Biden and for Kamala at the end of last year, and all of a sudden now she's straight now? That's not how this works. So what he's saying is, look, we can't trust anybody. We got to move this person out, bring our own people in. Now, whether you trust that data, Wall Street is going to ask that question again moving forward. But I don't think they've been able to really, truly trust it this entire time. We'll see how the markets shake out this morning and get a big picture of that on the way. But speaking of numbers, the Trump administration, probably an even bigger story, brought in a record high in U.S. tariff revenue in July, surpassing 29, nearly $30 billion. And there's one more number you need to know. 0 illegals released into the United States for the last 3 months. 0. Massive numbers. Probably the biggest stories folks aren't going to be talking about this morning, particularly the mainstream media. They just have a tendency to want to ignore that.
Number 2.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah. Hey, something big is happening in Texas right now. Speaking of numbers, it could give Republicans 5 extra House seats. Why? Texas is in the middle of a scheme, a plot. Republicans there to redistrict. Democrats hate this idea so much. They hate it with a passion, by the way. They are actually fleeing the state. Greg Abbott, the governor there, saying if you do, you'll lose your seat. I'm going to boot you. Better be back here by 3 p.m. today. It's a big move, a bold move, and one that's being countered by some in Illinois. The Pritzker is saying that if Texas wants to play this game, well, then blue states like Illinois might start jumping in and doing a little redistricting of their own. So we'll see. It's a story we're going to keep an eye on, and of course, the latest coming up in who knows, moments maybe.
Number 3.
Steelcase, biggest news in West Michigan this morning, has been acquired. Sold for $2.2 billion is what it looks like. That's the deal announced earlier this morning. You probably heard it here first, right here on West Michigan Live as the news broke. Our partners at Wood TV with the latest. The biggest office furniture manufacturer being acquired by another company in the same market, they say. Steelcase being bought by H&I out of Iowa. That sale announced earlier this morning. A definitive agreement for H&I to acquire Steelcase in a cash and stock transaction worth $2.2 billion. The shareholders here happy. I'm sure. Question, though, about what happens to some of these jobs as folks are going to be really thinking about those things in the days to come, if they're not already this morning, as they get the news. All right. Let's get into it. The stories that matter most, the ones you won't hear anywhere else. I want to break some of these down for you this morning. And again, there's a lot going on this morning, a lot you missed over the weekend, but that's okay because you're in the right place to catch up and be brought up to speed.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
You know, incidentally, there's a couple other big stories that I didn't give you in the big three that are coming up, and I want to make sure you hear about them. In fact, over the weekend, we recorded a podcast with Pat Colbeck, former Michigan State Senator, who teased that something was coming. And you're probably like me. I've gotten so numb to all of these teases and, it's coming, it's on the way. All of that, right? I get it. I'm the same way. Like, sure, I'll believe it when I see it at this point. That's kind of how I feel about it. But I don't know about you. That's just where I'm at. And I thought when he said, well, okay, something big is coming. Okay, well, it's Pat. So, look, he's a good guy. He's credible. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if this was it or not, but it certainly seems to be a pretty large size announcement. The DOJ they're now entering into an election integrity push where they are headed out nationwide in an investigation to clean up the dirty voter rolls. Now, what does that mean? That means everyone that's on those voter rolls that needs to be off the vote, whether they're dead or maybe they're not here legally. They're not legally allowed to vote for whatever reason. We have a number of folks that just fit that bill specifically. The reason why this is so important, and by the way, you're gonna hear from Pat part of the podcast from the weekend. If you want to listen to it now, it's up on the app and everywhere else. You want to download it, the iHeartRadio app or wherever you download your podcast, JustinBarclay.com. You can search for it there, but. And I thought this was the most interesting piece of this is what we say from the gate, right out of the gate on this podcast is, look, there's a lot of great things happening right now. In fact, look at what I just told you. I mean, I just gave you a couple of very, very big pieces of news stories. Trump administration brought in a record nearly $30 billion from tariffs. 0 illegal immigrants released into the United States in the last 3 months. I mean, those are massive stories. Any one of those stories by themselves would be just, they would be monumental. So when you add in some of these other pieces, it really... well, it sweetens the pot. So this is the point, though. None of this matters. None of the great things that President Trump is doing to right the ship, so to speak, get us back on track and all the bit of turbulence that we've got to go through to get there. None of it matters unless we fix this. They've been monkeying with elections since I don't know how long. The only problem they've had really is that Trump has come along. He's made it too big to rig. He's broken down their system. So this, and that goes back to 16. Hillary Clinton was never supposed to lose, folks. I mean, I hope you understand that. That was never supposed to happen. It's just not something I want to harp on, et cetera, but I want you to know, I want you to understand how important this is. So as the Justice Department rolls this out, a nationwide investigation aimed at cleaning up dirty voter rolls, I mean, you're going to see movement here in Michigan. Not only are you going to see the rolls cleaned up, but you're also going to see some of these people targeted for investigation and maybe even prosecuted. And by the way, you've been wondering, where are the arrests? Well, you've got to start with indictments first. How do you get indictments? Well, that's part of what we're watching play out right now in the Senate, and this refusal from Democrats to actually green light some of Trump's administration. These are people that are waiting. I don't know if you know, it's been like 150, 160 or whatever behind the scenes that are waiting to be checked. They're waiting to be green-lit. They're waiting to be approved in the Senate. And that doesn't happen unless they get their votes. Well, Democrats are doing what Democrats do. They're obstructing and doing anything and everything they can to stop Trump from getting his agenda forward. And one of those things that has to happen, as I mentioned, indictments, people talking about, where's the arrests? You got to have a Justice Department that is fully staffed and ready to go in order to make this happen. Well, one big move happened this weekend. That is certainly pushing us in the right direction. So we've got that. I'll explain that on the way. But the Justice Department opening up a nationwide investigation aimed at cleaning up dirty voter rolls, sending requests for detailed voter registration data and election procedures to at least 19 states. Guess who's among them? So this is going to be interesting. Jocelyn Benson in the middle of investigations, federal maybe even, investigations trying to run her election and run for governor as a Secretary of State that is being investigated. It's not a good look. Especially in the years, there's a third-party candidate who's essentially a Democrat who's just said, I'm not going to call myself a Democrat anymore. But he is. Nothing's changed. Don't make a mistake. There are a lot of Republicans out there, some of the big business folks who are actually funding the guy. He's a Democrat. He just changed his name. More of the same if you elect him. More of what Gretchen Whitmer brought. Jocelyn Benson gets in, it's even worse. She's like the Marxist George Soros plant. I'm not just me saying that. He's one of the biggest donors to her campaign. George and Alex, the son. We know that from election data. But some of the big Republican donors have switched over to, and they've, let's say, maybe added in, some of them added in Duggan. He's a guy to watch because he would be bad news. It would be more of the same with robbing the taxpayers to give out corporate welfare, et cetera. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. And I like I mentioned, probably stories you're not going to get a whole lot of if you're watching the nightly news. Lester Holt probably not going to cover this one. But we do. That's why we do it for you. Make sure that you are in the know. More truth, logic, and common sense. Full speed ahead. We're back after this. And the news that could make the arrest chart soon on the way.
Wherever you are, stream us on your smartphone. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Monday, August 4th. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Sadly, a worker from South Korea trapped and crushed to death while setting up a machine at the Holland LG plant. This is the second death there in the past 2 years. The company has faced repeated OSHA violations and complaints from employees about dangerous working conditions. Radicals at the far-left group Code Pink demanding the University of Michigan protect the Chinese researchers who were busted smuggling potentially dangerous biological samples into the U.S. Code Pink urging the university to defend the Chinese researchers who are facing federal charges. And she's downplaying her dereliction of duty, calling it an unfortunately missed vote. Michigan Senator Democrat Alyssa Slotkin taking to her X page, incredibly defending her action, skipping crucial votes on Capitol Hill to appear on the canceled Late Show with Stephen Colbert on CBS. For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords.
All right, welcome in, Freedom Fam. Appreciate you as always. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here, man. We got a cool cast of characters today. Hey, big news coming up at noon for the Freedom Fam in VIP. Members are going to be able to ask Mike anything. The AMA. Usually it's Ask Me Anything. Ask Mike anything. Mike Lindell, that is. My Pillow's Mike Lindell. We got a pillow talk coming up at noon Eastern today. And if you're a member, just $7 a month, you'll be able to ask him anything. Join annual, and you're going to get a month free plus a copy of my book. I'll sign it and send it to you. Now's the best time to do this because you can hop in with us during the podcast recording today with Mike and throw your question in. It's going to be a blast. Hey, thanks to the folks who are already supporters in the VIP today. Kelly, Gritter, good to see you. Appreciate you being here with us today. Terry as well. The whole crew is locked in and ready to go. Tim, the Road King. Panda, Sharon, Shimmy, Karen, good to see you. Sailor Sue, and many, many others over on the Rumbles this morning. SJ, Darkhawk, IPV, Tree Frog, Kelly, and many others. And on Facebook, the Bookers, Mary, Tammy, Bunny, Bruce, Sherry, another Sherry. Shar's over on YouTube. Appreciate you being here, folks, watching on YouTube and X as well. Back on it in just a moment.
And start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
Listen to Wood Radio on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Michigan Auto Law, auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
You may have missed it over the weekend. Our good friend, Pat Colbeck, former Michigan State Senator, joining us on the podcast, and some of that conversation coming up this morning. We appreciate you being here with us. Fantastic conversation. Like I said, I want to let you in on some of that coming up here in just a moment. All right, what else is going on? Oh yeah, I got to tell you about that other big news where people think, well, I just want to see arrests, and I get it. I do too. That's probably one of the highest things up on my list is riding the ship and getting these folks, seeing the transparency and accountability through it all. The tables have turned. Here's another story. Trump prosecutor Jack Smith under federal investigation. I want to get into that one. Former FBI Director Chris Wray criminally referred to the DOJ. And the biggest story that makes all of these things think, okay, because before you thought, yeah, but nothing's going to happen. But folks, let me tell you, this is how I know the tide has turned and we're in for, it's the find out era. Let me just put it that way. Judge Jeanine Pirro has finally and formally been locked in as the U.S. attorney in D.C. That means she gets to go hunting. I'm telling you, can't overstate how important this is. This is a very important development. So there you have it. That's just, that's just some of the benefits of what are going on. Mike is on the phone with us this morning from Wyoming. Mike, welcome in. You're on West Michigan Live.
Hi, Justin. I want to shift gears a little bit. I'm all for putting all them phony Dems in prison, but here's why I called you, Justin. It's about the tariffs and how they're ranting and raving about these billions of intake. I get all that, but Justin, again, we middle-class working seniors are not seeing the benefit. I'm going to give you an example. we just were having some new flooring put in our basement. Well, there's a cute little $100 surcharge because the material comes from China. And the reason
China.
why is because of the tariffs.
Hey,
Now,
Mike, why are you putting Chinese flooring in your house?
because that's where it's made. Go into a tile store and find out where. Justin, go to a tile store and show me how much good stone. I got it right here in the box. I'm looking at it.
Wait a minute. Wait, Mike,
Yeah.
Mike, wait a minute. Hang on.
All that stuff from China.
Wait. You're making a good point, Mike. Hang on. But you're jumping the gun.
China.
Hang on a sec. You're making a good point. I want to talk to you though. I got to take a break though. Hang on. See, Adam, see if you can get Mike a cigarette or something. I don't know, something. Calm him down. Just hang on a sec.
We don't have.
Hang on. Wait, Mike. I appreciate the phone call. I have to take a break though. We're up against the news. I really want to address this. It's a very good point. Please pick him up and talk to him. Hey, cool him down a little bit. I want to get to it. He's making a very good point. We'll get to that right after this, I promise. And Pat Colbeck coming up as well. Don't go anywhere. Breaking news, maybe the latest on the Steelcase sale happening after this. Bottom of the hour news.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas. T-Mobile Arena. Streaming live only on Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances. And keep listening for the next chance to win your way there.
The 2025 iHeartRadio Music Festival is brought to you by Metro. With their new lower prices, the celebration.
Sorry about that. Adam just told me, my producer, Adam just told me from the producers booth, I got him, breathe him into a paper bag. He'll be back about on the. I love Mike. Mike is, but it's just, if you're just tuning, you're like, who's this guy? Who's Justin? Well, Mike's a guy that he calls all the time. And I love, he's a great guy, great caller. One of my favorites, always worked up about something, which I love. Because it makes for good conversation anyway. But I got to talk him off a ledge often, and I think that's might be where we head today. Hang on, gotta clear the throat today a little. All right. There we go. That's better. I just thought every now and then you got to get a little. Anybody else freaked out about the tariffs? Do I need to talk any of you off the ledge? I want just one thing. I'm gonna make this point with Mike, but the one thing. One thing that's probably. I don't know. Probably you can't overstate this. Is you got to realize, and we have to realize, this country wasn't destroyed in a day. Like they said, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it won't be saved in a day. So that being said, all of this. Really, what it amounts to is that we got to have a little patience. You got to know and have faith. Look, faith and patience. You got to have faith that you hired the right guy for the job, and then you got to give him time to do the job. I mean, goodness, when they hire anybody, especially in radio, when they hire anybody in radio to come out and do a job, they gave them, a couple of years to get results that they want to get done. Same thing when it comes to hiring a president. It's probably even more so. You got to give him more time. Now, I understand it was so bad. He's made such big shifts. You would think we'll see something immediate. Well, we probably have. We probably have seen some. And in fact, we'll walk through some of that here in just a little bit if I can. But man, I got some good ones for you from this weekend. Got some good clips I want to play for you. I don't know if you've seen any of the Sunday shows yet or any of the clips from the back and forth this weekend. Some really good things going on. All right, let's see. What CNN stuns the world. Here you go. This is a good one. CNN stuns the world with this announcement about Trump.
The Donald Trump administration is arguably the most influential this century and probably as well dating back a good portion of the last century as well.
The most influential. Isn't that something? CNN.
Love it, like it, lump it. Trump is remaking in the United States of America. Let's talk about tariffs first, right? There's all this talk that Donald Trump always chickens out when it comes to tariffs. No tacos for Trump. The effective tariff rate, get this, it's 18%, the highest since the FDR administration.
Well, listen, come on, be honest. Are you kidding me? It cost you $100 more for the same product versus when, though? Now versus when? and what does that even mean? Look, you guys, don't try and BS me. I saw gas at $2.89 this weekend. You got to understand, some of you people are just angry birds, and you're mad about everything. It doesn't matter who the president is. You're going to find something to be mad about it. You just realize that, though, okay? Just be honest with yourself. Well, beef prices are going up. There's a number of reasons for that. It's not Trump's fault. You think that tariffs are causing beef prices to go up? We've been talking about that for years. And by the way, I haven't seen grocery prices go up on anything. I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday. We were talking tariffs, and I go, I'll be honest, I haven't seen price of anything really go up. And eggs have come down. But gas at $2.89, that's the lowest I've seen it in a long time here anyway. I don't remember when I saw it lower. But just because your beef costs more doesn't mean everything else is going to cost more, or grocery prices are going to cost more. And look, if you want cheaper beef, you can maybe look at talking to somebody who's a local farmer or somebody who can, who can work out a deal with you or something. Melissa, I'm not calling you an angry bird. I really don't. And I sometimes when I say things, it sounds like I'm targeting people. But that's not my intent. I also don't think, but I will say, I'm not telling you you're wrong, but I don't buy the prices. I think sometimes, here's the thing. I wrote about this in my book. We have this thing inside of our brain called the reticular activating system. What you focus on, you're going to get more of, okay? And it's a really miraculous system designed to help us with pattern recognition. When you're going to look for something, you're going to find it. The Bible says it, seek and you'll find. But the point is, it's the same thing that's responsible for you seeing, after you buy a car, that same car driving around on the roads everywhere. Oh, the electric bills are going up. They are. We have energy costs through the roof right now, and the reason for that is AI and data centers coming in, sucking out more energy at the same time that our stupid consumers and DTE here in Michigan had tried to put wind, solar, and unicorn farts in and shut off coal plants. That's what's responsible for that. It's really bad. Okay, but I think Trump will get that straightened out at some point as well. It's just going to take a minute. Hang on, folks. Back in just a moment. Got to get back on the air.
Company that actually stands for something.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
The Donald Trump administration is arguably the most influential this century and probably as well dating back a good portion of the last century as well. Love it, like it, lump it. Trump is remaking in the United States of America. Let's talk about tariffs first, right? There's all this talk that Donald Trump always chickens out when it comes to tariffs. No tacos for Trump. The effective tariff rate, get this, it's 18%, the highest since the FDR administration in the 1930s, up from, get this, just 2% last year. From just 2% last year, we're talking about an effective tariff rate level get this, 9 times as high this year than last year. But it's not just on tariffs, which of course Donald Trump ran on, in which you're seeing a tremendously influential presidency. What about immigration? Of course, Trump ran and has always run on a very hawkish immigration platform. Get this, 2025 net migration in the United States down at least 60% from last year. In fact, we may be heading for the first time in at least 50 years in which we have net negative migration into the United States. And last year, of course, in 2024, the net migration in the U.S. was 2.8 million. This year, we might be talking about negative net migration. My goodness gracious. Now, of course, this is part of a larger story, as I was mentioning. We're talking about immigration, net migration. We're talking about the effective tariff rate. But get this, how is Donald Trump doing it? Well, he is signing a ton of executive orders. Get this, 180, the most in a year since Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Oh, my goodness, you have to go back to the first half of the 20th century, the last century. And to make a comparison, Joe Biden signed, get this, just 77 during his entire first year. And we're only a little bit in August so far, and Donald Trump making history with 180 executive orders signed so far this year. So that's why I said that in my mind, Donald Trump is the most influential president of this century and probably dating back a good portion of the last century. That is because he is remaking the country in terms of tariffs. He is remaking the country in terms of net migration, and he is remaking the country in terms of how much policy changes he's putting through in executive orders. As I said, it truly is history making. Love it, like it, or lump it.
Now,
the
that
Donald
was
Trump administration.
CNN. you know it had to pain them. It had to pain them to air that. CNN, of all people. All right, let's jump back on the phone. Let's get to Mike. I'm glad he's probably had Adam said, I've got him breathing into a paper bag. Listen, let me tell you something about Mike from Wyoming, first of all. Mike's probably one of my favorite callers. He's a great guy, and he always has. It was a good point to make, but the other thing is, Mike, you're always so passionate about things. So sometimes I have to talk you down off the ledge, but I appreciate you hanging. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Justin. But Justin, hear me out. I'll be quick. The bottom line is prices have to come down, and they're not. Justin, I'm looking how.
Wait. Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there. Because you made a good point. Prices have to come down. How soon do you want, Mike, let me ask. You got to stop you on this point. You have to answer this. Because I agree with you. Prices have to come down. How soon do you expect that to happen?
Justin, if things don't change by the midterms, you're going to find out, and that's why I'm talking about this. And as far as that senior deduction, Justin, that don't change my lifestyle at all. You can keep it. It's not really changing anything for me.
Okay.
It's no big deal. Hear me out. We have to get the prices down now because people.
What do you want the price down on? I just saw gas at $2.89 this weekend. I just saw gas at $2.89.
It goes up and down 20 cents a gallon around.
What do you want the price down on? Give me.
It's got to be down. You got to drop it by $1, not 10 cents.
Mike wants the price dropped $1. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Tell me.
Justin,
what else?
Like the flooring. You want to know why it's coming from China? Go in a tile store, Justin, and tell me how much is made in the U.S.
All right. I gotta put you on hold. Mike, I just talked about this off the air, but this is what you all have to hear. There are two things that you need to have happen here. Number one, you got to understand. The United States wasn't destroyed in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. The United States wasn't destroyed in a day. It's going to take longer than a day or 6 months for Trump, and he may be the only person that can do this, to get it back on track. In the meantime, some of us, and look, Mike, I get you. I understand that you feel the pain of paying an extra $100 to buy tile. What's the full cost of the tile project, though? Can you tell me what the full cost is?
It's more than you want to know about.
What's the full cost?
In the basement. Well, just for part of the project is a 7x7 area of stone, which cost me $800. The rest of it adds up to $3,500 because the rest of it's
all right.
Flooring.
All right, so you're telling me
flooring. It all comes from China.
Sure, I got it, but you're telling me you had $100 surge.
These boxes. I'm looking at these boxes right now, Justin. Hear me out. We don't have the
Mike, I love you, but you gotta stop talking, brother. If you got a $3,500 project and you paid $100 more, I know it doesn't feel good to pay an extra $100, but at the end of the day, do you pay the extra $100? It means that Trump can get things back on track, and maybe within a year, 2, 3, I don't know. Here's my point. Whenever they hire me to go in anywhere, when I was working all over the place in different radio stations, it'd give you a couple of years to figure out whether you can get the job done or not. And I understand. We've swung so far back with Biden and everything that he did to us in the last 4 years that we want to see Trump right the ship and immediately. But the point is this. You got to have patience. You hired the guy. You hired the guy, and maybe the only guy that can get the job done. You hired him to do the job. You got to give him time to get it done. You got to be and listen. I'm going to tell you that you may not feel this right away, but some of the things you may. If you got your money in the stock market, you're probably happy. Now I know we had there's a little bit of back and forth with that over the weekend as well, so I understand. I have not. Well, let me tell you that this is my point, and I'll leave it at this. I have not personally seen or been affected by the tariffs. Now, that doesn't mean that you haven't. That doesn't mean that Mike hasn't. But I haven't personally seen or been affected by the tariffs at all yet. That doesn't mean that I won't. Right? I'll tell you what I have seen. I've seen a constant barrage of negative news on it. I've seen, and even this weekend, the newspaper had some stupid article about Gretchen Whitmer says it's going to cost more for school supplies this year because of Trump's tariffs. All of that is designed to get you and everyone else to get antsy and feel uneasy and then look for something that is probably not there. I'm sorry. If I'm spending $3,500 on flooring, I don't know. Maybe, Mike, it's a different story for you, but $100 for a surcharge. And I don't know. Again, there's so much about this question. Is like, did you bid it out? Is everybody telling you the same price? Are there differences from other people? Because a surcharge, it's hard to wrap my head around that, to say that that's the reason why we're upset. But I will say this. There are things that are we talked about this off there. There are things that do cost more right now. Energy's one of them. That's not Trump's fault. In fact, it's part of the problem here in Michigan, where they tried to put all the wind, solar, and unicorn farts online and shut off coal plants as it's going on. But my point is simple. Hey, Mike, and I'll just say this, because I do like you, and I like folks that are listening. I understand if you're still feeling pain, and the same pain that you were feeling under Biden. It's just not an easy, quick fix. He's working, and the things he's getting done, they never expected him to get done. So you got to have a little more patience. It'll all get worked out in the wash. And I'm telling you, if you let the guy work and get this done, it's going to be incredible. We're already seeing the moves happening with all of these countries coming in. All of these guys wanting to come in and make deals, and the investment coming into this country. The middle class isn't feeling it yet. Well, guess what? Wait until they start getting hired. Wait until, in Michigan specifically, we got manufacturing lift. Early data showing new projects in steel, electronics, all of it breaking ground in Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania as companies move to avoid future trade penalties. That's what this is all about. And Mike hung up, and I'm sorry, Mike. I wanted to just wrap up with you for a second, so I'm sorry if I scared you off. I didn't mean to. Here's what we know, what the tariffs are doing right now. There's a cash surge. In July alone, they brought in $30 billion. They even talk about sending you a check for $600. Hawley's got a bill. I don't think I'm in favor of that because I think that might make inflation kick up a little bit, so I'd rather not do that. But Hawley's got a bill out there. Senator Hawley's got a bill out there to send checks to you. investment pledges. South Korea, $350 billion in investments and $100 billion in energy purchases, part of their deal, all because of these tariffs. My point is, do not be scared. Do not be freaked out. Do not become victim to the fear-mongering that's happening in the media. So you got to be careful. There are some folks that, again, are mad about everything and always looking to point to. I'm not saying Mike is one of those people, but my point is, don't be one. If you find yourself sort of headed in that direction, make sure you do a little quick heart check and make sure that's not you, because I get it. You know, frustrated, feeling like, well, if I just wish this stuff would start taking effect. Sometimes that can be worsened by paying too much attention. My prescription for you, by the way, is more truth, logic, and common sense. Lock in here. Turn off the negative nonsense. Flush CNN, MSDNC 13, all of the local channels. Sometimes you just have to do that. All right. And I'm just curious because I haven't felt the tariffs at all. I haven't felt them at all. I'm not saying that's going to be right for everyone. But I'm just curious. Have you seen it, and are you confident Trump's going to be able to get it done? I think it's a good question. We'll hit that coming up after this and give you a chance to hear from Pat Kolbeck, too, on the way. The podcast is up. Big election integrity bombshell he sort of teased, and I think we might have already gotten it. I haven't got a chance to hear from him yet, but this story about these investigations happening all across the country, buckle up, folks. Big things are happening.
Informative, engaging. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300
Here are
and
your
106.9
headlines
FM.
on the Midwesterner this Monday, August 4th. I'm Robin Kaufman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. It's always an excuse. Michigan Senator Democrat Alyssa Slotkin downplaying her dereliction of duty, calling it an unfortunately missed vote. Slotkin taking to her X page, defending skipping crucial votes on Capitol Hill to incredibly appear on the canceled Late Show with Stephen Colbert on CBS. Radicals at the far-left group Code Pink demanding the University of Michigan protect the Chinese researchers who were busted smuggling potentially dangerous biological samples into the United States. Code Pink urging the University of Michigan to defend the Chinese researchers who are now facing federal charges. And a worker from South Korea trapped and crushed to death while setting up a machine at the Holland LG plant. This is the second death there in the past 2 years. The company has faced repeated OSHA violations and complaints from employees about dangerous working conditions. For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
It's big. It's
Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you something else, Julie. So Matt says bills have gone up, and $200 still only gets you 5 bags of groceries. And with my kids being off from school, it's gone by Wednesday. All right. I've just I don't want to go into specifics, but one of the things that I felt led to do recently is be a much better steward of our resources. My wife and I have sat down in the last couple of weeks and really looked at what we're doing, what we're spending. And I'm just feeling called to do this. So I don't want to, I don't want to give in any more. Like, there's nothing more to it other than just, I want you to know that we've been doing this too. And some of the things we've been doing, and I'll just tell you. So I'm not saying this is you, Matt. But what I will say is we looked at half of the nonsense we buy from the grocery store, and we cut our bill in half. Just by saying, look at all these snacks we buy for these kids, and they don't finish this half the time, and they don't finish that, and then they get full on snacks, and then prepackaged convenience stuff, and then they don't eat their dinner, and then you got leftovers and what. So what we have done is twofold. We decided let's cut out some of these things that are conveniences, and let's solely focus in on, the stuff that matters, and do a little bit better with meals. Leftovers and cooking and having enough for this, that, and the other thing. And we're still, we're probably about a week or two into this. But I'll tell you, we've basically cut our bills in half. And I still think we got more to cut when it comes to the grocery store. My point is there's a thing that happens. It's kind of like a creep. It's a grocery store creep. And so we have to just keep our eye on it. And Matt, again, I'm not like, no, I'm not like calling you out or anything. We're guilty of it. We are in our family. So I've said, okay, let's take a little closer look at this and do what we can to make sure that we're because then that food, that money, much longer way. Appreciate you being here with us today. I'm Justin Barr. We got Pat Kolbeck here that's going to talk about some election integrity stuff. I wanted to make sure that you heard this. Stand by. It's from the podcast this weekend. Oh, by the way, too, Sean says we're doing the same thing. We've seen our prices go down. That's fantastic. I think we ought to do this more regularly. I feel like it's something we ought to do probably once a quarter or once a year. Hang on. We had a great conversation, a podcast over the weekend with our good friend, former Michigan State Senator Pat Kolbeck, teasing election integrity and the announcements of something big, a bombshell, he said, coming up this week. Problems. And in the first 6 months, he's gotten a lot done. But none of it matters. None of it holds unless we fix just one single. Now they all matter together. Don't hear what I'm not saying here. But at the same time, if we do not fix the way our elections are run, the safety, the security, the integrity around it all, then none of it matters. Because the next time around, somebody else will come in and undo it all. In fact, that's starting here with the midterms in 2026. It's very important because if we don't get these elections secure, if we don't maintain the transparency, the accountability around it all, then the Democrats win. They're back in office in Congress, and they can start impeachment proceedings and start to tear down everything that President Trump has been up to. So all of that is why we set the scene here. By the way, we've got some big breaking news. We're going to get through some of those updates. Pat Kolbeck, former Michigan State Senator, he's been in this fight over the years, and want to make sure we brought you back on because I've seen some big things happening and want to give a chance because people are very concerned. It's another big, I said this earlier, but there's a bunch of these like spokes of the wheels of the platform policies of what got President Trump elected. Any number of them would have been like enough to do the job, each of them all together, making America healthy again, and some of these, all of that, and by their own, but you put them all together, and I think folks really want to make sure they stay updated on all of them, and that's where we are here with election integrity. So welcome in, Pat, and I know you got breaking news. You got some big things that are going on right now as we speak.
Well, first of all, I want to echo what you said at the beginning. The reason why I and so many other what I call meddling kids are focused on election integrity is because that is our voice. And if you want your voice to matter on key issues like abortion, the budget, the border, whatever it may be, you need to make sure that that voice is preserved, secured, and respected by the people that are making policy decisions supposedly on our behalf. So that's why I'm so focused in on this particular topic. And you were alluding to some breaking news that's going to be coming out here. There's all these meddling kids been waiting for the ultimate kerplunk stick on all the election fraud, and that's going to be exposed all at once. And we get the investigation in 2020, all that good stuff. And it's just coming out in drips and drips and drips. So I'm telling you today, from my sources, there's something big that's happening in DC. It may leak out today, but most likely it's going to hit the news cycle next week. It's all the efforts that everybody's been working on to go off and expose what's really happening in our elections It looks like it's about to pop in a very, very big way.
Is this the story we had for you earlier today? I really think it might be. I got to hear back, and I'm going to try and see if I can get in touch with Pat. By the way, today, Mike Lindell recording an exclusive podcast with us coming up around noon, so a chance to hear from Mike. I think it'll be fantastic. You know, the story that we had earlier is that DOJ opening nationwide investigation into cleaning up the dirty voter rolls. That's a big one. We're going to have more on that. If that is, in fact, the big bombshell he was alluding to, we'll give you the details on that in the coming days. But in the meantime, go check out the podcast. It's up at the iHeartRadio app, wherever you download your podcast, and lock in. One worth listening to or watching, for sure. All right, back with more tomorrow. Fastest Hour Radio just flies by each and every time. We wish we had more time for you. We do. I appreciate you being here with us. More tomorrow. Back with you after the Glenn Beck program. God bless.
Forgive us our trespasses, we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
They could be the best years of your life.
Okay, back at it. And I sorry if this was you, somebody listen, I apologize, but we had a call we didn't get a chance to get to. Rick and West Olive, I think. On one, says it's going to take time to lower prices. I appreciate the call, Rick. I did not have time to get him in there, especially after. Are they already drilling? Oh, no, they're coming up to drill. Oh, man, I hope they don't drill when we got Mike on. Oh, man. I could hear a little bit in the podcast with Pat. I just heard a little bit of the drilling. And I was like, oh, that's what it sounds like? That's not good at all. All right, we're going to get an after show rolling. Rolling. Stand by.
Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay.
Yeah, welcome into the after show, the show after the show. That's what we call it, the after show. Never a dull moment, never have time to get to it all. Folks, we're doing it now. By the way, I've got some big stories that we just barely scratched the surface on. Some of the ones that we got a chance to talk about today. And this weekend, we had like an avalanche of big stories. RFK ordering the removal of something specific from jabs. It's a big story, the one you're not hearing anywhere else. A bit of a Rona report. The measles are up, not here in America, but somewhere else where they just don't want to share that story with you. Plus, Trump loves Sydney Sweeney, and we'll tell you why. It wasn't the commercial. It was something else that moved him to profess his love for the actress. We'll get to all of that coming up as well in the show today. We just appreciate you being here with us. The after show, the show after the show. Big thanks to our good friends Mike Lindell, who, by the way, Mike will be on talking a little pillow talk today. Mike Lindell at noon Eastern, right here. And you can be with us. By the way, we're going to stream that on Locals. And when I say right here, that's what I mean, right here, but on Locals, justinbarclay.com/locals. Great conversation about the fight that he continues in, the fight of his life, how you could support him, but also like behind the scenes, some of the stories and the big news about some of that big breaking news as well that we had over the weekend. My Pillow deals are underway. They got the coffee 50% off with a prescription to My Coffee. They got the energy drinks Rev 7 and, of course, Mike's got all that make gear at mystore.com/Justin, mypillow.com/Justin, when you can get geared up right now for some amazing, in fact, the latest, from what I understand, the large retail store just canceling again on Mike. A huge order leaving MyPillow with a ton of extra MyPillows. But you know what? Their loss is your gain. MyPillow offering the classic collection for wholesale prices of $17.98 for a MyPillow standard. Even better, for a limited time, they're going to offer their entire classic collection at home. The queen size MyPillows, just $22.98. King $4.98, and you get the body pillows for $29.98. But do it now. Even the multi-use for $9.98. Go to mypillow.com/Justin. Use promo code Justin. Take advantage of the wholesale pricing and receive $100 in free digital gifts. Order $75 or more. That's right. When you get the standard MyPillow, just $17.98. And it's probably something I should mention. It's mattress month. What do I mean by that? Whether you want a mattress or a mattress topper, MyPillow has you covered. Well, it's probably not the best word to use. Because you lay on the mattress, really. But they got great deals. And if you haven't seen them yet, you got to go check them out. Massive discounts. They'll bring the thing right to your door. Mattress pads, mattress toppers, mattresses themselves, beds as well if you need the frames, protectors, all of it. Click on the mattress section. It's mattress month. Save now. And anytime you order a mattress, you're going to get over $100 in free digital gifts with that order of $75 or more. Right now, mypillow.com/Justin. A lot of people don't know that Mike and the team has mattresses. But that's why we thought we'd do a mattress month. All right. Here we go. Let's get into it. I see some questions in the chat, too. Let me see. Maybe I can answer some of those questions a little bit later on. I got to tell you, there's just a lot happening today, so we'll do our best to make sure we get you all covered with it. First, I want to start with the big three again that we had earlier today. We had the numbers. Job numbers didn't line up with where the Trump administration wanted to see them over the weekend, and they believe that they got insider deep state folks monkeying with the numbers, trying to crash the economy. Well, not crash it, but they're just trying to mess with the markets. Obviously, they're trying to make people afraid, think that Trump's the problem. I don't know if you saw today, but we're in the green. Markets are back up today. 408 points is what it looks like right now. I don't know if we've been any higher than that. S&P 500 is up. The NASDAQ is up nearly 400 points as well. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they react, because I think a lot of this stuff we saw over the weekend was just pure panic. What's happening in Texas is interesting too. We talk about whether we're going to be able to win this next time around in the midterms and what they're going to be able to do. Well, what they're looking at right now is adding 5 congressional seats if Texas does what they want to do, which is redistricting. If you haven't seen this story, it really is fascinating. The Texas redistricting story. So they've decided they're going to move some things around, and I kind of love. I think it's sort of genius. And why do I think it's genius? Well, number one, we're in the find out era. Okay. We are in a find out era right now. And what we have found out is that these states, California among them, and a few others, have been loading up. In fact, illegals on census rolls, etc. These people have been counted in the census, and so they've allowed now for states like California, to add more people to their the voter rolls. Well, not just voter. What I mean is the Electoral College. So they get more votes. They get more Electoral College votes in states like California. But they also get, on top of that, they get more House. They get more seats in the House. So that's just all part of this. And I got to tell you, I'm watching this stuff happen. Has been really interesting to see it play out. Texas is not messing around. Governor Greg Abbott, with this letter, real Texans do not run from a fight. That's exactly what most of the Texas House Democrats just did. Rather than doing their job and voting on urgent legislation affecting the lives of all Texas, this is the redistricting. What they would do in Texas, and I know Florida's taking a look at this too, would actually add 5 seats. But you know what the thing is? This is brilliant. It's not just going to add seats. It's also going to get rid of, and this is brilliant, Jasmine Crockett. She's going to be out. Jasmine Crockett says the new U.S. House map in Texas will draw her out of her district. I'm all in. I mean, you had me adding 5 seats, but when you tell me that Jasmine Crockett's out too, I'm all in. Here's the new map. Very little blue. Lots of red. Lots of red in there. Very, very little blue. Just little dots. Those are where the cities are. So this is going to happen. But what I think is the most interesting piece of this is, as you just heard Greg Abbott say, Texans don't run for a fight. Well, Democrats do every single time. They're off on airplanes trying to run out of the state. And why are they trying to do this? Essentially, they're trying to keep the House, the legislature there in Texas from being able to have a quorum to call the vote to actually get the redistricting done. They fled. Democrats fled their state in a $47 million jet that cost about $17,000 per hour to operate. That means the flight to Chicago, where they flew, cost nearly $100,000. Republicans in Texas should probably launch an investigation, an emergency investigation into who paid for this stunt. Speaking of thwarting the will of the people and a threat to democracy. There's the jet. I'm old enough to remember where they ran last time, too. You remember that? The last time they ran out. What did they run to last time? We were all on that jet, and remember they got caught. They got busted. Oh yeah, the plane flying maskless during the height of COVID, pushing masks and social distancing and lockdowns on everywhere else. This is your Democrats in Texas. You gotta love them. Busted. So that's going to add 5 more seats. I think Florida may consider the same thing. But Governor Greg Abbott in Texas saying, by the way, if you run and you're not back here by 3 p.m. on Monday, we're going to lock you up. Actually, maybe that was the Attorney General in Texas. Yeah, Governor Greg Abbott has said, well, you're gonna forfeit your seats. The revolt by the State House Democrats, many of whom went to Illinois or New York on Sunday, and Abbott giving them less than 24 hours to come home, ratcheted up the widening fight over congressional maps, began in Texas, but has drawn Democratic governors who have floated the possibility of rushing to withdraw their own state's maps in retaliation. Their options, however, are limited. At the center of the escalating impasse is Trump's pursuit of adding 5 more GOP-leaning states. I like how they say it's Trump's pursuit. Well, of course, Trump would like to do it, but he's not the only one calling the shots here. I mean, I imagine these governors think it's a great idea. And I also think it would be a great way of actually and truly, really representing their areas. New congressional maps drawn by Texas Republicans would create 5 new Republican-leaning seats. Republicans currently hold 25 of the state's 38 seats. A vote on the proposed maps had been set for Monday in the Texas House of Representatives, but it cannot proceed if the majority of Democrat members deny a quorum by not showing up. After one group of the Democrats landed in Chicago on Sunday, they were welcomed by Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, but declined to say how long they were prepared to stay out of state. There he is, the Pritzker. Anyway, it is wild to watch this go down. Threats of being arrested, and then obviously, on top of that, Abbott has said, "Well, if you're going to stay gone, we're just going to give up your seat." Legislative. So this is what it says. We'll do whatever it takes, but what that looks like, we don't know. State Rep Gene Wu, the Texas House Democrat caucus leader, said. But legislative walkouts often only delay passage of a bill, including in 2021 when many of the same Texas House Democrats left the state for 38 days in protest of a new voting restriction bill. Once they returned, Republicans still wound up passing the measure anyway. 4 years later, Abbott, taking a far more aggressive stance, swiftly warning Democrats that he will seek to remove them from office. This is the find out era, folks. He will seek to remove them from office if they are not back when the House reconvenes Monday afternoon. That happens at 3 today. He cited a non-binding 2021 legal opinion issued by Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton there in Texas, which suggested a court could determine that a legislator had forfeited their office. He also suggested the lawmakers may have committed felonies by raising money to help pay for fines they'd face. The truancy ends now, he says. Good for him. It's good to see somebody with a backbone, fight this stuff. And that's just what Abbott's doing. So the House Democrats have issued a forward statement in response. They say, come and take it. But listen, it's a matter of time. This is just going to happen. This is all circus, pomp and circumstance now. Lawmakers can't pass bills in the 150-member Texas House without at least two-thirds of them present. Democrats hold 62 of the seats, and at least 51 have left the state, says. Republican House Speaker Dustin Burrows said the chamber would still meet as planned on Monday afternoon. If a quorum is not present, then to borrow the recent talking points from some of my Democrat colleagues, all options will be on the table. All options are on the table. So there you have it. They flew to Chicago. Of course they flew to Chicago, the communist city of Chicago. Why? Because they knew they'd be safe there. That's why they flew. They may be arrested somewhere else. I was just, can you imagine the day and age that we're in? It's a find out era. People are going to understand this one way or another, and very soon. Well, the markets are up and down. They're all over the place recently. Again, today, back up and in a big way. But what does it mean for your money, folks? You got to make sure you're protected. One of the best ways you can do that is with precious metals. And our good friends, Kirk Elliott Precious Metals, can help you do just that.
I'm Dr. Kirk Elliott, founder of Kirk Elliott Precious Metals. After being in the industry for more than a decade, I knew there was a better way. It's an exciting time to invest in gold and silver with the most significant bull market I've ever seen. But please don't overpay for your stuff. At KEPM, we focus on low-cost bullion only, and we don't charge a commission when you sell. We would love to connect with you, so call our office at 720-605-3900.
Or go to goldwithjustin.com today. And thanks to our sponsors there, and of course, partners that help us promote and make this program possible. All right, I got some RFK news. Want to get to that first. I want to do Trump on Sydney Sweeney. Oh, he's in love. He's professed his love on the tarmac the other day after getting off Air Force One. But it's not for the commercial. It's not for reasons you might think. But listen to what he had to say. President Trump says he loves Sydney Sweeney now that he knows this.
Actress Sydney Sweeney, it came out this weekend that she was a registered Republican. That who was?
The reporter saying that Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican. By the way, this just came out the other day. She's in Florida. I've been a registered Republican for a while now.
Very hot actress right She's a registered Republican? Yes. Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much.
This has got to be driving the Democrats nuts right now. Absolutely batty. Well, I'm here for it. There's another reason, by the way, Sydney Sweeney, not just that story, but she's gone viral all over again this weekend for an old video that surfaced and one that's worth watching. I got a kick out of watching. There's actually two this was another one that I watched that I thought, and I don't really know who she is, and I don't know. I think she's pretty, but it's not like the end all be all. But what I'll say is I think that the responsive is so overwhelming because it's finally somebody who's not ugly. And I don't just mean that in appearance. There's lots of other ways that people can be ugly in these ads, and that the ads aren't ugly. And what I mean by that is just, well, remember the Jaguar ad? It's probably the best example, that Jaguar ad. How ugly that thing was. Anyway, here's why she's going viral again this time around.
Back this for your first day.
Hey, eyes up here.
Wow. 9:21. Oh my God, girl! Was your first time? That was really good.
That's pretty impressive. Her first time, by the way.
You're going dog nuts. I mean,
Ready, girl? Yes.
Sydney Sweeney has great splits.
Two shots on top of each other.
You see what I did there, right?
Pretty good. I'd be really proud if I were you. Yeah.
for your first day, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
Where do you want to put it? Right under the handle. Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Sydney.
Nice. Of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, that car she's driving is actually hers, and she helped restore it. It's a Mustang. There's a Ford commercial with her out, and I have to go back and find. Speaking of car commercials, this is what I mean by ugly. This was Jaguar's ad. You know, this whole weird. This is a communist sort of weird. I don't know. Yeah, this is the kind of wacky thing that they want to push on us. Like We Should Bet was all about diversity and everything else, right? Oh, we should all just be fawning over it. They didn't even show the car during this commercial. It was just. I don't know. It's just so tough to watch, and it's just so undeniably wrong. But that's what leftist communists they hate. They hate beauty. And I think one of the reasons why they hate beauty so much is because they hate God. I really do. I think the two are tied. It's architecture. It's everything. If you look at the communist era, like the buildings that have been built in communist countries, but not just there, but even here, some of these, some of the buildings that they have built in this weird sort of square, boxy, no architectural, nothing classic to it. It's just really It's sad. So she's got a Shelby Mustang. Well, maybe that's not her Mustang in that commercial, but she apparently loves to work on cars, which I had no idea about. There's a video out there somewhere of her working on a Mustang. And I guess it's her car. Hang on. Is this this? Yeah, this might be it. Hang on. Which I just think is kind of interesting.
Hey guys, I'm excited to introduce you to my vintage Mustang. Her name's Brittany, and I'm going to show you guys some things that I love about her. When I saw the exterior but also the interior of this car, I was absolutely obsessed because if you see how beautiful these seats are and the blue ceiling, I love the original steering wheel, radio, the shifter. We have the original hubcaps, these awesome mirrors.
This is just her showing off the car, but there's a video out there of her actually working on it.
I always thought that the shape is really cool. I don't see it anymore. I plan on updating the power steering right now. I currently don't have any, so it's a little bit of a hard drive. I'm gonna put disc brakes in the back so it's a safer drive. I'm gonna have to take the engine out, take it apart, see what's going on, upgrade the engine as well.
The reason why this is working right now, why it's so big, is that it's just a complete rejection of all that nonsense from years ago. It's just a complete rejection of it all. And look, yes, Pinecone, thank you so much. It's called the Brutalist style. That's Barack's Museum style. Yes, you're right. Oh my gosh, that's a great example of it. The trash can they're building in Chicago. Hello from Detroit. Air quality in Detroit is always bad. What's a little more smoke? Yeah, it's nasty here today too. In fact, Canada is to blame. Let me see if I can find, and then we'll do a side by side here of. This is the same sort of. This is what they call art, by the way. Obama Museum. Here we go. This is what they call art. Somebody put Obama trash on it. That's funny. I'll show that one because it's clearly Photoshop, but it's hilarious. This is the museum they're building for him. This is his presidential museum in Chicago. Again, just do you see what I'm saying? Like this modernist sort of. And as you just made that brutalist sort of, that's what that looks like. The drilling is harsh today. I got to see if we can get these guys to take a break while we record Mike, because it's going to suck if we don't at noon. Oof. I can deal with it up to a certain point in the after show, but if we're interviewing somebody, maybe Mike will do all the. Maybe he'll do all the talking. All right, Obama Museum. Now let me see if I can. This. Here we go. This is the one. The Obama Museum next to a trash can. Oh, it's priceless, folks. You can't get enough. You can't get enough of it. Oh, so good. It's so good. There is no one better at this, by the way. There is no one better going out and talking to the American people and making it as clear and as plain as day about what's going on behind the scenes or what's happening right out in front of us. Stephen Miller is one of the best, probably the best in the administration doing this, and he lays it all out for Maria. I don't know if you've heard about the grand conspiracy charges, the conspiracy, what was happening behind the scenes. Well, I call it the find out era. Why I think those that are patient are going to find that good things, in fact, will come to those who wait.
The Russia collusion hoax against President Trump remains the single greatest hoax and the greatest assault on our democracy in the history of this country. There's no comparison. There's no parallel to anything else. It was a coup. And I'm using that term literally. It was a coup to overthrow a democratically elected government, a coup carried out by the intelligence apparatus of this country, by the deep state, by Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. The new information that has been revealed by the Director of National Intelligence and by the FBI eliminates any scintilla of doubt about the intention, the premeditation, the planning and orchestration of this conspiracy. It meets all of the criminal elements of a seditious conspiracy against the United States. It meets the criminal elements of an insurrection. It meets the criminal elements of a conspiracy against the government and the criminal elements of a conspiracy to deprive citizens of their civil rights under color of law. one egregious felony after another. And because it is a conspiracy, as demonstrated by the forethought of realizing and documenting that they understood that this was fake from the beginning, meeting the mens rea standard in law. Because of that, because it is a conspiracy, every single individual actor is now part of that conspiracy. So that includes Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Hillary and Schiff and everybody else who knowingly and willfully perpetrated this plot, this coup, this conspiracy, this scheme against President Trump and the government of the United States. And now is the time and the hour and the moment for accountability so that we can reclaim this democracy, Maria.
He lays it out. I don't think it could be more clear. I really don't. Hey, by the way, somebody just sent this to me. This is the Sydney Sweeney working on the car. By the way, I can't change my own oil. Here she is working on her car, and she's doing just that.
Welcome back to Sid's Garage. I'm going to be doing some maintenance on my vintage Mustang. Join me.
This is all stuff there's just no way I would be able to do. She's got her own little garage and place to do this. But this, her Mustang, that's a pretty sweet car. I don't, you know, the question is will she get canceled in Hollywood? That's the next question, is what happens to her because of all this blowback, if people find out she's a Republican now, et cetera. I like to think we're at a different time and different day and age, and maybe she won't, but you just never know. I know I could. Sherry says you could change your oil. I could do anything on my car. As long as I got a YouTube video, I can do. And I've never, you know, I think you could do surgery if you had a YouTube video. You could probably do open heart surgery. It really is. YouTube makes it easy to do everything. But I don't have the tools. A lot of times I don't have the time. I mean, where I go now, I just go in and out. And I'm telling you, it's like I drive in and they take care of it. I'm done in 15 minutes. You know, maybe it cost me a few bucks, but at the end of the world, it can you imagine me trying to change my eye? I wouldn't. I could probably do it. Yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't want to. Now, if I had a shop like she does, like with all the gadgets and the tools and everything, I'd do that. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, look, this is the difference between that garage is clean as a NASCAR garage. Yeah, it might even be a set. It may have been something they filmed for Ford. I don't know. Wanted, new girlfriend with garage. Send picture of garage, Jim says. Yes. I'm not a doctor, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. Yeah, I really do. I don't know everything. Everything is on YouTube these days. Everything, and I really do. I think you can almost do anything you wanted to on YouTube. It's just that good. All right, RFK Jr. ordering the removal of thimerosal. Have you seen this story? This is where I think the mercury is in some of the jabs. It's a big story, and it's one that probably won't get the coverage that it deserves. Take a listen to what he had to say over the weekend.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS secretary. I'm happy to report that last week we closed the final chapter in the long history of thimerosal in the United States. Thimerosal, of course, is a mercury-based vaccine preservative. Its main component, ethylmercury, is a known and very potent neurotoxin. Until we withdrew the recommendation last week, flu shots containing thimerosal, astonishingly, were still being administered to millions of Americans, including pregnant women and children. Now, I've taken a lot of flack from the vaccine industry and from its allies in the press about my decision to ban it. So I want to talk a little bit about my reasons. In early 2001, the director of the FDA Office of Vaccine Research and Review late William Egan admitted under oath before Congress that thimerosal safety had never been studied in human beings.
Here's the full statement. Kennedy ordering the removal of thimerosal, a mercury-based preventative containing nearly 50% mercury by weight from all U.S. flu vaccines. Mercury known as a neurotoxin, especially harmful to fetal and infant brain cells. The EPA listed as hazardous, even at trace levels. That's the latest. Dr. Simone Gold saying kudos to RFK Jr. for putting conscience, ethics, and vulnerable children above political inertia. Toxic-free medicine is non-negotiable. A big story, and like I said, one in the Rona report, so to speak, that needed to be reported. How about this? The number of measles cases almost triple in Canada what it is here in America. Well, I thought we were the problem. I thought it was all of us vax deniers here. I thought we were the issue. No. Ontario and Alberta account for the bulk of infections in Canada. The number of measles cases there this year nearly triple that of the United States. Do you know what they have there? An influx of people from other countries. As of July 19th, confirmed measles cases reported in Canada reaching 3,878. According to the report, this is 2.9 times the 1,333 confirmed cases reported in the U.S. In Canada, measles infections, both confirmed and probable, have been reported from 10 different jurisdictions. It's 10 different places in these provinces, we'll just call them. Ontario, the highest number of cases. By the way, that's just across the border from Detroit. Maybe we ought to do a quarantine on Canada and keep them. Maybe we ought to keep them off the list. You can't come in, Canada. Sorry, you're banned. Measles have been eliminated in Canada since 1998, and therefore endemic transmission no longer takes place in the country. However, cases continue to occur sporadically, usually due to importation from regions where measles. Well, that's according to the World Health Organization. Where do you think they're coming from? All the places that they already have this issue, and Canada's letting these people in right into the country. Now, I'm old enough to remember a time. I don't know about you, but I'm old enough to remember a time when they told us, like, if you don't get the jab, you can't do this, that, or the other thing. You can't travel, etc. And they're just letting people in, hook, line, and sinker. By the way, they let them all in unjabbed. You and I were the problem, but these people they let in, apparently not. Here's Trump on Sydney Sweeney in a full-on statement. I really don't know who she is until now. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie that she's been in. I don't know. She is a registered Republican, she says, has the hottest, that's all caps, ad out there. It's for American Eagle, and the jeans are, quote, flying off the shelves. That's good. I don't know who wrote this. I don't know if it was him or not, but this is genius. Go get him, Sydney. On the other side of the ledger, Jaguar did a stupid and seriously woke advertising. See, that's what we just talked about. That's a total disaster. The CEO just resigned in disgrace. Oh, there's some breaking news. I didn't know that. The company's in absolute turmoil. Who wants to buy a Jaguar after looking at that disgraceful ad? Shouldn't they have learned a lesson from Bud Light, which went woke and essentially destroyed in a short campaign the company? Market cap destruction has been unprecedented, with billions of dollars so foolishly lost. Well, just look at that woke singer, Taylor Swift. Ever since I alerted the world as to what she was saying on Truth, that I can't stand her hate. She was booed out of the Super Bowl and became no longer hot. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. But the tide has turned seriously, he says. Being woke is for losers. Being Republican is what you want to be. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It's just great. Oh, by the way, he was hot on it this weekend. He told Schumer to go to you-know-where, which I think is fantastic. I had a lot of other things that we're probably just not going to have time to get to. But you know what we can? You know what we should probably before we get out of here? Well, one of the things we probably should do. Lonnie Anderson has died. 70s star and second wife of Burt Reynolds I think she was in, was she in her 70s or 80s? I remember her from WKRP in Cincinnati, which folks wondered, is that where you worked? No, not exactly, but yeah, but close actually. This is a good song here.
Baby, if you've ever wondered whatever became of me, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati.
Let's see, maybe we can get the actual video of like this whole thing, like driving into the city and everything like that's on the TV show. Will you see on the I lived that life for a long time. Here's the WKRP long intro version. Let's play this one.
Baby, if you've ever wondered whatever became of me, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP. Got kind of tired of packing and unpacking, town to town, up and down the dial. Maybe you and me were never meant to be, just maybe think of me once in a while.
There she is, Lonnie Anderson. Probably one of the greatest shows of all time. I don't know, maybe I'm just a little, biased because of the radio thing, but there she is, Lonnie Anderson, gone too soon. Now, how old was she? Was she 79? Yeah, I still feel like that's a lot. I think she was battling, she had a cancer, something like that. I don't know the full story on it, but I saw the news come across yesterday, and I just thought, oh man, there goes another one. We've had a few lately. That was not disco, Sean. I hope you don't think that was disco. That was just kind of like a soft rock for that era. The Profits, Pinecone says, from Sydney Sweeney's line of jeans go to a domestic violence hotline. Wow. I didn't know that. That is incredible. 79, Lonnie Anderson was 79, just days from her 80th birthday. Another one, and like I said, another one just gone too soon. Folks, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today. And always, please, if you are able to join us at noon Eastern today over on Locals, we'll talk to Mike Lindell. If you're a VIP member, you get to ask him anything, any question. Nothing off limits, no holds barred, just $7 a month to join us. And of course, if you get the annual upgrade, you get a month free and a copy of my book. I'll sign and send it to you. And those supporters, the VIP members, are the ones who make it all possible. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Yep, we got more coming up today at noon. Wishing you the best, folks. Make it a great day. God bless. Welcome to the world of Q Broadcast. Hey, it's Justin. It's the future of home entertainment. It's here today. Now you can say farewell to cable and other streaming services that limit your options and open the door to unlimited possibilities. Q Broadcast gives you the power to choose what you want to watch, when you want to watch, and where you want to watch your favorite shows. In sports, on up to 5 devices simultaneously. Q Broadcast brings together all your favorite streaming services in one place for only $2 a day. That's live TV, movies, news, and classic TV series. Pay-per-view for only $2 a day. You can't get a cup of coffee for that. That's Q Broadcast, and you can do it today. They make it a breeze for you and your family to find something you all love. You can take Q Broadcast wherever you go. Start watching on your phone and seamlessly continue to your TV, iPad, laptop. With Q Broadcast and the app, you can watch on any device, whether you're on the road or flying to your next destination. Q Broadcast is compatible with most streaming devices and smart TVs, so you can enjoy your favorite shows and movies on the big screen. And for all the sports fans, Q Broadcast offers your favorite college and professional sports from around the world, providing the ultimate sports experience. Q Broadcast is the future of home entertainment. So say goodbye to cable and the limitations. Embrace the endless possibilities with Q Broadcast. Upgrade the Q Broadcast today and start enjoying the freedom to watch what you want, when you want, and where you want for only $2 a day. Q Broadcast. It changes everything. Go to QWithJustin.com to find out more and get your 15-day trial started today. That's QWithJustin.com.